Too much going on. What's up, everyone? Oh man, got all kinds of people in here. We got Aaron, Stacy, Ryan, Justin. Man, this thing is not wanting to stay up. Ah. What's up, everyone? How was your New Year's and all that stuffs? I've been trying to nap. I've been exhausted. That's what I'll say. I hope this audio doesn't play it. I gotta be very quick about this. Okay, good. Good. Toothless is gonna be dancing up here. What an appropriate place for him to dance and not to blow anybody's eardrums out. Oh man. All right. Well, as you can see there in the title for today, you plan on going to bed. I mean, hey, I'm glad. Get some sleep, man. As you can see in the title, today, this is the first stream of the year. This is, it's January 1st, 2024. Super glad we made it this far. As crazy as things have been, I'm actually curious. I know there was the big advent calendar. I actually never got to finish this up. Okay, cool. I was wondering if they would still have, if they would have anything left. Oh, I already had that. Okay, so sanguine dice. I know I had sanguine dice. What else did they have? They had a toaster. Oh wait, that's right. I did see this one. This is about the last one that I saw. Some action figures. Night. Yeah, night, buddy. I did look up some of these. Ooh, that's not a bad deal, actually. 15% off of the 15% off the legendary bundle. If you didn't already have that, that's a decent deal. I will admit. I remember the day that I got the legendary bundle. What a day. Did I have the flourish dice? I don't remember the flourish. Yeah, see, I actually have the sanguine dice already selected. That is what I normally roll with. I don't remember if I have that other one. Oh, I guess I do. Flourishing. Got all kinds of dice. I haven't even looked at some of the new ones, some of the ones that are just like given to us. What the fuck is that? Red dragon dice? Let the terrifying red dragon roll on your character. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love black and red dice. I always want to roll with these, but like it's one of those things where it's like it's too basic. I always feel like it's not enough to roll on there. Let me pull out Brondor. Let me roll on his sheet. So you got the red dragon background. Let's. Oh wait, no. First. Yeah. First roll. We're gonna roll one of each. Oh, so close. So close. Those are so. Oh, that's sick. That's sick. All right, let's see what happens when we get a nat 20. Come on, nat 20. Nat 20. No, nat 20. All right, let's try it again. I don't want to roll so many that it lags. So we got a nat 1. Okay, so it doesn't do anything special on a nat 1. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, we had two. We had two nat 20s. That is slick. Oh, I love that. I love that stuff. You know what? I haven't looked at in a while. I haven't looked at the backgrounds that you get with your character stuff, and I'm curious to see that. Let's take a look at these. Apparently they are new dice. I actually don't remember seeing those. Oh, here they are. Scale to new heights with, oh, so it's, sorry, yeah, it's the December subscriber. So if you subscribe to D&D Beyond for December, you will get those. Yeah, actually, I did want to check out the maps. Apparently there is some stuff, if you're master tier. So, I want to see what some of the backgrounds are. It's been a while since I looked at these. Let's look at the colors that they're offering recently. I very rarely ever look at these. It's so often am I just not playing a character. You know, let alone like, oh my God, expression and perfection. That would be perfect for Cooper. My, he's up there all the way at the very end. The bard, the Warforged bard that you see. Where's the monthly subscriber ones? Thought that had its own category. So these ones. Wait, was that it? No. All right, what do we got for portraits or backdrops? Where's the subscribers? Subscriber backdrops. Here we go. Zoom out on these. I remember this. Oh wait, this is the Elven Tomb. That's just straight up the Elven Tomb from whatchamacallit, from Rime of the Frost Maiden. That wait a second. This is the Gripply Village. This is the Gripply Village from Candlekeep Mysteries. Oh shit, what is it called? What is it called? It was from Candlekeep. I ran this one. It's not Deconstruction. That was the spaceship one. Which one was it? It wasn't Sarah. Oh, it was Book of Cylinders. It was the Book of Cylinders. Yeah! Fucking knew it! I knew it! I knew that map. I knew that map only because of all of these, like, walkways and stuff. Yes, you did play in that one. I knew it because of these walkways, the crab maze. This image has real estate in my head free of charge. It lives rent-free in my mind because I love the look of this. This to me has more atmosphere than most other pictures I've ever seen. For one, the haze of it just sells like mystery and unknown. The singular human figure that is so small in this framing amidst these massive, like, forested hills with the rocky outcroppings, these waves that would be taller than he is. And then on top of that, you have this giant crab in a net that could just snatch them up at any second. It sells to me forlorn, lonely dread. And I absolutely love this map. I wish I could have done it more justice. I wish I would have had a better way to do this encounter in the Book of Cylinders when I ran it. I basically had like one long big stretch of walkway. If I redid it today, I would probably do like a very large map, one that had a bunch of different walkways, and I would instead of having it be like multiple encounters, I would probably want to do it as like it's all its own encounter, and there are crabs that can get up and snap at you, and it's more about like the environmental dangers of heavy winds, waves that could knock you off. The crabs would obviously be there, so you could have the melee characters, you know, trying to fend them off and like keep the crabs occupied while the rest of the party moves. But run it where at parts some of the walkways just like get covered with water. Have it where like you could have it an image very similar to this, and have it be something where you're like moving a glob of water around and cutting off access to certain places so that they're kind of like forced to swim through the water and stuff like that. That would be really sick to design a different encounter for that. So that's a really cool background. I like that. I'm glad that I picked up on that one to boot. That one had those frogs. Yeah, the Gripply. Yeah, that's the Gripply village. This was the village where the frog folk were. And they were being harassed and basically taken by Yuan-ti cultists. Tonight we are drinking watermelon mint G Fuel for what it's worth. I want this one to load. I don't know what this one is. This one was from November. And I'm kind of disappointed that it's not loading. I've seen these ones. Looks like Day of the Dead, something like that. What else we got? We got, yeah, this. I feel like I recognize this, but at the same time, I don't. I remember when I first saw this one, I thought this, well, maybe, you know what? Oh, I wonder. Could be wrong. Yeah, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong with that one. I was thinking it was like my mind was playing tricks on me. It kind of looked like the combination of where this throne is down here, but like this hallway in Axholm. Like this almost looked like, well, no, that's a staircase. Okay. Yeah, I don't know this one. Curious what that could be. That's the Underdark. I know that. Or no, that's not the Underdark. That's the Shadowfell. That's an image associated with the Shadowfell. What's they have? Do they have the newer ones? Are they further up? This is 521 11. Not sure. Sometimes get put out of order. Oh, not gonna lie, I do like these colored backgrounds, just simple colors. That's sick. What is that one from? Oh, is that Strixhaven? Yeah. Yeah, these are Strixhaven schools. Shadowfell, like you, I feel like you used that or similar ones. I probably did. Definitely seen these. Here's where I haven't seen a lot of new stuff. Planescape, Phandelver and Below, the giant brains, the obelisk. Oh, Venom Fang, the green dragon. I mean, hey, if Ryan's still here, we're in the midst of royalty. He was crowned King of Phandalin, so he should know those well. What was that one? TBOMT? TBOMT. What would... Oh, that's the Book of Many Things. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that would have sold it to me. The Book of Many. You know what? I'm honestly waiting. I have actually stayed my hand at looking at the books, or looking through the Book of Many. Now I own it. Don't get me wrong. I did buy it, wherever the hell it is. I did front the money for it. I haven't looked through this. There's a part of me that kind of wants to not look through it yet until they actually fix those issues with the cards, when they re-release it next year. But I haven't actually looked at it. Maybe we'll look at it today. Maybe I'll finally give in and look at it. I am curious to see a lot of the things that they've done, because I know that they've changed a lot. So maybe we'll look through some of that in a bit. And then TCSR. What would that be? TCSR? Is that an adventure that I'm ignorant of? TCSR. Don't know. Can't think of that acronym off the top of my head. But what do we got? Some orc. Oh, that's just that's Critical Role. Okay. Oh, wait, is that what the fuck is it called? Shit, I can't think of it now. Taldora Reborn. Yes. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, that's the Taldora book. I don't know if I have that. Source books, adventures, partnered content. Here we go. Do I own it? Yes, I do. Okay. Oh, you know why? Taldore Campaign Setting Reborn. That's what it is. TCSR. Taldore Campaign Setting Reborn. That's a stretch. That's a stretch. I know these ones. Explorer's Guide to Wildmounts and Call of the Netherdeep. I forgot that this was on there because Taldore Reborn was the one published by Darrington Press. That was like their own internal publication. And that was actually one of the big ones when D&D started actually like doing real partnered content that was outside of their own wheelhouse. Shoot, why is pre-rolled ad on? No, yeah, pre-rolled ads should be on. Weird. I am very much wanting to look into Grim Hollow. There's a part of me that wants to run bits and pieces of this for the whatchamacallit, for the one library campaign that I run. The setting I feel would fit it because of the whole thing that I'm doing with that campaign, where it's basically the occult devoted to Mask, the god of shadows and thieves, is trying to create a shadow dragon in order to like bathe the world in darkness and shadow and ill feelings. And they are utilizing the dreamscape you know, the realm of dreams where emotions are amplified to harness an evil draconic spirit within the dreamscape known as Noctmare, the nightmare dragon. They want to birth forth a shadow dragon and have Noctmare embody it and have him as their, like, essentially prophet of a shadow nightmare dragon. And Grimhollow definitely has like a very like dark setting, but I don't know if they have like a full-fledged website. Yeah, they do actually. Good. There is a group that there's a group that I met out at PAX. Let me see here. See if I can pull this up. Yeah. So there was a group that I met out at PAX called, I think it's called, yeah, Let's Roll Press. And they have this campaign setting called Chapelwick, a cosmic horror 5th edition campaign about the city that crawled from the sea. And that to me is like, I like eldritch horror stuff. And like it says cosmic horror. But what sold me on it and like what made me like want to get in touch with these folks and see what they're doing and like follow along is this adventure blurs the paper thin line between reality and nightmare. I'm like, that's everything I need. Like Chapelwick is the setting that I needed for that campaign. And if you want to keep up with them, you can go to getchapelwick.com. They're going to have a lot of cool stuff. They've already started building stuff out. They have a Kickstarter. They have a Patreon, I believe. They also have a Discord. They have Let's Roll Press that you can go and join and talk about what's going on. Also, this art. Yeah, because I did talk about it last time or in one of my last streams because it was them that did these awesome cards that my camera's gonna mess up with. Let me switch over here. These awesome cards that have like really sick weapons and monsters and stuff like that. So that was who did them. Also, this right here, this Insanity deck, if you know Junji Ito, who is a Japanese horror manga artist, that art, it immediately sold me because it reminds me so much of his one work Uzumaki. So cool. Something uncoils within your mind. A notion, an urge, a patron. You gain the Eldritch Blast cantrip and the Agonizing Blast invocation. You may choose Wisdom or Intelligence instead of Charisma for your spellcasting modifier for this feature's Eldritch Blast and the damage bonus. That's something fucking cool. Like you're just basically getting like the best cantrip and the best invocation for it, and you can use Wisdom or Intelligence instead of Charisma. But it's like, this is going to be something that plays into the campaign. Like, this is going to be something that plays into your character development. So yeah, check this out. They're also doing a bunch of subclasses and stuff like that. So, really, really interested in seeing what they have coming up. You can also go to chapelwick.com. It's not an advertisement either. I just really like their stuff. Apparently they have like a whole story and stuff that you can follow along with. Different concept arts and stuff like that. So yeah, go check them out. They're really cool. I've been enjoying their stuff. I don't know if I'd ever do Dungeons of Drakkenheim. Seems way too big for me. Too big of a setting for me to get into. Ooh. All right. Oh, my back's itchy. I just gotta eat my dinner. I haven't eaten my dinner yet today. I got a bowl of stuffed shells. What you guys have for dinner? you out there munching on? Turn that up. I couldn't even hear that. Pierogies from the freezer, nice. We had pierogies just the other day. I shows my camera was still set up. I love pierogies. My mom makes great pierogies. Tell you what, that is one thing that I consider like a blessing in my life. I know a lot of people who grew up where their moms were not great cooks. I had the complete opposite. Like all the women in my life growing up, like my mom, my grandmothers, great cooks. As you can see, I was well fed. Technically didn't have dinner yet. Late lunch, leftover kielbasa. Yeah, we also had I had some of that too. One of the things that I had that I always look forward to this time of year for, it's called Lutzi Special. It was named after my great grandfather. And it's basically an old Polish casserole. But the main gist of it is that it's meant to be eaten near the New Year's because it is pork bits, sauerkraut, sour cream, and rice. And you basically mix the sauerkraut, the sour cream, and the rice into a casserole, and you cut up pork into bits, and you basically cook them enough to where they're just about to start browning, and then you incorporate those pork bits into the casserole. And you have to find like the perfect balance between the four ingredients. Too much sauerkraut and it has too much of a bite and it's also too watery. Too much sour cream and it's just kind of like mushy, and too much rice and it's too dry. And it, good night. You basically mix it all together. You put it into a casserole dish and then you bake it, and you bake it until the top of it starts to turn like golden brown. And it you know, you don't want it burning or anything. You don't want to cook it so long that it's like bubbling or nothing like that, but you just want it long enough where the top of the dish is starting to turn golden brown. And I've grown up with this. Like, it was something that my grandmother made when I was a kid, for her kids, which then she made it for us when, you know, when my parents were together. You know, my mom learned how to make it, so she would make it for us. And then now my sister-in-law makes it every year. My mom will also make it, but it's one of those things that I will eat so much of it that I basically need to have my own tray, which is my Christmas gift. That's the Christmas gift that my family gets me every year, is like my mom will make me my own tray of Lutzi Special, and my sister-in-law will make me my own tray of Lutzi Special, and I'm more than happy with it. Like, it is my thing and I absolutely love it. So that's always going to be the thing for me, is that dish is like my number one. It's New Year's. I know I'm going to get this one thing and I love it every year. All right. What other frames do we have released right now? Because I don't look at frames often. So, ooh, okay. We got an animated gate forge. That's pretty sick. Animated planar compass. A gate seal. That one's cool. I like the tentacles. An animated spire of Frixit. Okay. Gift mimic. Oh, that's cute. I like that one. Oh, sorry, bug. Sorry, buddy. I think I ran over my dog's toe. What else we got? We got bells. We got Holiday Joy Spectator. Oh, that's awesome. It's a spectator with a Santa hat and beard. That's great. And a snow goblin. Man, it is hard to see that. Come on, damn it. Yeah, that is hard to see. He looks like little, oh, I guess he's supposed to be like little, like the kid from Christmas Story. What else we got? We got bunny ears. Come on, scroll up. Scroll up, there we go. Butterfly wings, carnival ticket, elephants. Oh, I've seen these ones. Yeah, I've seen these ones. Because I use this one a lot. Animated fire breath. I think that one looks really cool. Crimson Veins I've also always liked. It's very like understated. They need to have animated ones for each of these, and they also need all the classes. Okay. I think they need to have this, but for every single class. Like, give me a monk one that's like, you know, fists and stuff like that. You know, or give me a wizard where it's like a book. Animated neon. Oh, that's perfect for the pink we have going on. Little dragon. Oh, that's cool. Space pirate. Which one's this? Oh, Spelljammer Adventures in Space. Okay. Space hamster, yep. Knights of the Rose, yeah, this is whatever, Dragonlance. Oh yes, the literal Dragonlance. That's cool. I like that. Oh, that's even like that's a symbol of Tiamat. That's cool. Animated music box. Clockwork. Concordant Express. Oh, that's the train, yeah. We got Big B's. Big B's hand. This is the obelisk. Phandelver and below. That's all right. Animated Oculorb. Animated Esotem. Jeez, that is very busy. Wait, those are all flaming. Wait, no, that's not a flaming skull. Is that that looks like a flaming skull, but just like a cat version of it. That's weird. Mustavel, the mouse, and RO4M. I don't know a lot of Planescape stuff, so that is beyond me. Animated card reader. These are like way too intricate and detailed to be frames. I just want to point that out. Like, that's an opinion for sure, but like, okay, let's just see what this last one looks like real quick. Okay, that one's not too bad. That one you could really like see from afar, but I just want to like point this out. Okay, it's hard to see all the detail when you're looking at it, you know, up in the corner. I don't know, maybe that's just a me thing. I want to put the neon on this one. Like, I don't use my rogue healer for anything. It was just a build, but I want to put that pink neon here because it just makes sense. Just have it on all the time. There we go. Now we'll do the animated. Yeah, so I think what I'm gonna jump into real quick. Oh yeah, I never finished watching this. I gotta watch this after why MCDM strongholds are keys to campaigns. I want to hear his opinion. Yeah, I want to see what maps they added to D&D Beyond. And then maybe after this, we'll talk a little bit about the big whatchamacallit, the big project for the year. And then we'll talk about maybe we'll look into the Book of Many. Curious, I do want to look into that. Oh, they have actually added a lot of stuff. Added a lot more campaigns. Giants of Starforge, the Hero's Feast. They got the full Icewind Dale one. If that's all the Icewind Dale maps, that's actually pretty decent. Places of Interest. The Ragged Tribes. Wormdoom Crag. We'll maybe look at one or two of these. Let's pull these up. I guess we'll load them in. See the DM version and maybe see the player version of Wormdoom. And we got Phandelver below. So that one's been there from the beginning, but the Teldore one, this is definitely new. And obviously the Book of Many is new. So that's interesting. I knew that they had this one. They had the Lightning Keep because that was there from the beginning. But did they add more basic maps? Not really. I have tried to upload my own. I just want to point out, this seems like, I don't know why Mushroom Cave seems out of the, like, okay, grass field, wood floor, stone floor, water. Okay, cool. Those are fairly common environments. Snow, depending on the campaign, and red sands, depending on the campaign. Mushroom Cave feels very specific. I could be way off base though. Maybe we'll take a look at it. That's super open. I guess if you just, this could really be anything. This could even be like any cave. So it could be any like Underdark setting. This could be any random cave. I would even say that based on the coloration, this could also be like at the bottom of a canyon or something like that. Grass field. Yeah, that's about as basic as things need to be. What's up with all the, are those like bushes? Those have to be bushes or something like that. I don't think those would be trees that are like see-through or dead trees, but I don't know. Different assets at least. This is the same tree, and this is also the same tree. Okay, I'm curious about what they used to build these, because this tree, this like all the ones that are like dark on this side and white on this side, they're all the same tree. So I'm curious about what they're using to make these maps, because you can tell each one has like, there's right here, there's like a line that almost looks like a bear paw going this way, and you can see that here and here as well. So I'm curious what they're using to make this, because these are not assets that I recognize from anywhere. And also I can tell, as far as my opinion is, I don't believe these are the works of Mike Schley. This doesn't look like his work. So, all right. So, okay. So it is just literally just, you know, from the book. See, this is the only thing that would bother me is, as far as I know, they don't have they don't have like a layering system yet. So one of the things for me as a DM with the virtual tabletop that I use, this is what my players would see. But I prefer, whenever I can layer my own things on top of it, to have like W4, W5, W6, 10 feet and stuff like that, or 20 feet up here, because stuff like that is fairly important depending on if you have a big map. It's good to know what rooms you are in so that you're not having to constantly like check back to a master map. So it would be nice. So they have Pan, they have just the Fog of War. Oh, well, actually they've changed some of this. So we got Brush. Okay, so wait, Eraser reveals and Brush covers. We have different shapes and we have different sizes. Okay, so still super basic. Also, wait, what? Also, nothing that lets you like switch between them quickly. Like there's no shortcut to Eraser. E does not switch to Eraser and B doesn't switch to Brush. That would be kind of nice to have. Or to like hold control while you're within a map and be able to scroll, or even like hold shift and scroll, and it to like adjust the size of the revealer of the pen. Because if I'm going through here and I want to reveal these rooms, but then I want to scale up quickly, it's less intuitive, or it's not that it's less intuitive, but it's more cumbersome if I'm having to jump over there and like switch between them. It would be a lot nicer to have more tools available at your hand. What is this? Game links, campaign invite, map links, game log. Okay. Also, it doesn't have it yet. You can't roll in here. It is still a bit of a pain that this doesn't have a rolling thing. It just accesses the game log. Full screen. Okay, whatever. Let me check Goliath. Goliath Warrior. That's also another thing that I know that they're going to work on. The enemies. Oh, good. Yeah. See, enemies pop in visible. In my opinion, I think creatures need to pop in invisible. Okay, that's easy enough to change names and stuff. That's good. On the VTT that I use, there's like a 3-step process to change a name, and it's a pain in the butt when I want to change a name on something. But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a part of me that wishes that the tokens were brought in instead of wherever the center of the map is. That it would be like linked to your, you can either like drag them into there, because you can't just drag stuff in. It doesn't work that way. But I don't know. There's a part of me that definitely wishes they would pop in invisible. Because if you had your players in this room and you wanted to summon an Aarakocra, like you have to go somewhere else and summon it. So it's that's a small thing, but it is a thing. This is good. It is good that they incorporated this early on, but already can tell. Okay, you have to hold space to pan while you have another tool selected. This needs to be a thing in any VTT. A pointer to be able to say like, okay, yeah, you see that over here, you see this over here. I don't like the fact that it's only red. And it does not seem like you can change that. Because I don't know if another player could point. Because if that's the case, then that's a bit of an issue. What? Because I actually, one of the things I really like about Encounter Plus is that you don't. So no. Here's the thing. Yeah, I don't like the fact that it's only red. So here's the thing. Believe me, I do. I love that it's only red for me because red is the color that I would go with. But the problem that I would have with that is if I'm in a group with Aaron, Justin, and somebody else, and we're playing a one-shot or something, and I'm trying to point something out, I know I'm going to have Aaron and Justin and, like, say, Jared, I'm going to have them fucking around on the same map, you know, pointing, you know, and drawing dicks and shit like that. You know, in air, they're going to be like, oh. So it's like, you run into that issue. If they're all red, that's a pain in the ass. Now, if when you clicked this, instead it, like, or if you held it, if it came up with like a color palette of like 12 different colors, or if it was just a hex code, you know, just make it RGB, that would be okay. You know, make it something different for each player, or have it be basic colors. So for example, you could have it where it's like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and maybe even like some intermittent colors like lime and pink and things like that. But make it so that once somebody selects a color, that it's theirs. Okay, or, and I don't know if this is the case because obviously I can only see this. Hold on. Let me pull up Firefox. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think my wife is signed on to D&D Beyond. Nope, she is not. Oh, well. But yeah, if the only other thing that I could think of is that it would be good is if it, like, from the player's perspective, if when you do this, it says something along the lines of, like, Dungeon Master or something like that. That would be the only thing that I could think of that would be, you know, a plus. So. Oh, well. They are still working on it. Okay, what do they still have on the roadmap? Add a draw tool or ping tool. Okay. In-play token options and improves user experience for finding and adding tokens to a game. Implement session controls and a connected players menu. Add a zoom control to the user interface. They have. Add adjustable fog brush and polygon sizes. So they added circle and square and sizes. Can you use it for a current campaign? Yeah. Oh, I could. Oh, I guess I could actually just do that. So you're in here. Hold on. I'll say, Stacy, go into the campaign for Phandalin 5 and go to the maps for that. Or well, go to maps on D&D Beyond and go to open up for Phandalin 5 and go to this same one, the stone circle, and then try and use the point tool. All I want to know is, like, does it, like, if you use the point tool, is it also red, or does it give you a color option, or does it have your username or something like that? If that's the case, that's great. You know, if that's how they do it, that's awesome. It's a really nice map. I think this is Neutral Party. Oh. I also don't like how it doesn't let you, like, continue a path. It only gives you straight line rulers. Also, the ruler should snap. That's one of those things that's like a big opinionated thing for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you might. No, you should be able to. So if you go into maps, you should be able to select it here. Oh, wells. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Okay, yeah. So then I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna put that over on a different screen. It is what it is. We'll have plenty of time. I have no plans on switching anytime soon. So, you know, it is what it is. But I guess for right now, what we can jump into is the new project that I am doing over this next year, which officially, unofficially has the title of Calendir's Collection. Now, if you guys remember, at the beginning of 2023, we were going through doing a big ass mega dungeon known as Calendir's Dungeon. Okay. Still got it. We still have it. And, you know, we got floor 2. I even think we still have floor 1. Yep. There we go. As you can see, it still exists. You know, this was a big thing for me. Back at the start of 2023, as you can see, Dungeon 23 was the name, and it was big. It was going to be huge, and it was going to be this big year-long thing. And then the OGL hit. And as you all remember, that was a big fight. The DM up there, he even is still preaching it. As you can see from those days, I never took down the hashtag open D&D up there on that flag next to the DM. And it's because I still, you know, even though we won and Wizards of the Coast backed down, and in fact went even a step further than what anyone thought they would ever do, they gave us a whole ass SDR or SRD. They put it out there for free in Creative Commons, something they can never take back, something they can never undo. He stole Calendar's hat, the DM up there. Yeah, he did. But that was the thing, you know. Dungeon 23 was supposed to be this big year-long thing, and the OGL really drained me of it. But I don't want to put that all on the OGL, okay? That was a stressful time, it was. But my livelihood was not at risk, unlike a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there who were in a rougher spot than I, you know, who it was something that was life-changing for them. I wasn't in that situation. My livelihood does not rely on D&D. You know, it is my hobby. So what killed it for me was more the fact that I overdid it. Okay. Dungeon 23 was supposed to be a very simple thing. You write the description of a dungeon room and you do that every day. And it could be something super simple like a whatchamacallit, like 3 goblins and, you know, a piece of string or something like that. And that's all it was supposed to be, you know. And you were supposed, you know, that was the starting point of what it was supposed to be. And you were supposed to, you know, build on top of that. But it wasn't something that was supposed to be draining. It wasn't supposed to be something that was, you know, gonna like, you know, drain you out of it. The problem with me was that I let it be too much. I let it be way too much. Nacho, yeah, you went to, yeah, that was it, you know, and that was the thing, you know. And I had all these plans. I had everything up in my mind, and you know, it was gonna be this grand thing where every floor was gonna have some big theme, and each section was gonna have some theme. And I just let it get too much. And I did, yeah. I mean, I totally did get I got 2 really cool dungeons. You know, I got the first layer of the heavens, you know, stuff about constellations and things that have to do with darkness and moving light, stuff that, you know, an entire dungeon that requires players to work together, but in a way that's not conducive, where you have to communicate in ways that you might not be used to. You know, the whole thing with this one was that you would have 5 players and they would each have to go into one of the rooms, but only this person in room 23, they couldn't really communicate with the person in 25. You know, they could communicate visually nobody could communicate audibly with anybody. It would all be visual. And I thought that was, you know, cool. And like, this one was cold and everything was ice, and, you know, you were having to climb over things, and map 2 was different elements, you know, air, fire, earth and water. And you know what? I still like these dungeons. I need a secret pirate dungeon where the entrance is down. Yeah, you fucking do. That sounds awesome. You know, like, I really liked the thought of these, but it was just way too much, and it was way too involved. And I started really phoning it in. Like, every week I'd be sitting there, like, scouring the internet for, like, thoughts and ideas. And you know what? Sure, in some cases it wasn't bad. Okay, in some cases I learned a lot, you know, like with doing a map, you know, doing a maze underwater that has, you know, height and elevation. That was a cool idea, and I liked that. But yeah, it just got to be too much, and I didn't want it to become repetitive, and I just got drained of it. So I gave up on it. I mean, for what it's worth, I still have all the rooms. I have every single one of the rooms that I did. Thought, you know, I still have all that. Yeah, and I even had plans for like what March was gonna be. Yeah, but you know what, it is what it is. I mean, it was you know, it was the end of February. I was getting drained. It was a few weeks after that my friend passed away, and I never got back into this, and I was already feeling very drained. But all those negatives, I hope to turn into a positive. That is my goal, is to... It taught me how to use Dungeon Scroll. I will tell you what, yes. Dungeon Scroll still to this day, one of the best tools ever. And I still find myself going into here and like playing with this, and you know, just because the look of it is so good. It has such a retro old school style that 100%, like, being introduced to Dungeon Scroll was still one of the best things that came out of this. But, you know, what I want to do now, as I have announced, if you did not see this already, over in the Discord, which, by the way, you can just go to kelscorner.com and you can get to the Discord from there. This year, I want to do something different, as I feel that I am not the best dungeon crafter. It's not something I'm passionate about. It's not something that I find myself doing in my spare time by any means, far from it. I often find myself looking for other content that I can, you know, utilize and take from in order to put into my campaigns. But one of the things that I do enjoy doing is making homebrew. You know, over the last year, I have put time and effort into making homebrew. My compendium is growing slowly. As you can see, I have a certain, you know, I have a certain affinity towards subclasses, bardic subclasses, for what it's worth. But I have been feeling like I need to have something to funnel my creativity into, and I need to have something that will keep me in a bit of a track. One of the things about the works that I have done, like what you see featured here in the compendium, which actually isn't even all of my recent stuff. Well, like, I was helping out, you know, a friend. I'm gonna actually archive that real fast. But like, I don't even have all of my stuff in there. But when it comes to the stuff that I've made, the archetypal ascendants, for example, I made these races when D&D Beyond, or sorry, not D&D Beyond, when the D&D Unearthed Arcana came out, and they were going to go with the 4 core like designs for classes: the warrior, the mage, the priest, and the expert. And I thought to myself, what would be a cool race that really plays into those specific designs? You know, what if you had a race that was built to be a mage, you know, with the Mistari, where you gain an automatic +1 to attacks and to spell DCs, you know, where you can learn an additional cantrip, or that you can recover your spell slots better than other races. You know, like, this was stuff that I was really into, because at that time that was the main thing. You know, but then it's like things just kind of come up. There was one day over in Morvold Press, who's an amazing map maker. Go follow him if you haven't. Over in his Discord, somebody talked about having a bardic college that their symbol was a crimson, like a red curtain. It was like actors. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have my hand at this. I want to try this. I want to make a subclass. So I started putting stuff together, and this was like one of the first ones that I made, and just something that was different. And I got into really liking designing subclasses, because subclasses is something that I like to see when I'm going through the Unearthed Arcana subreddit and when I'm going through the internet. You know, and then like one day I saw a meme where it was like somebody was making a deal with the devil at a Planet Fitness. And so I got the idea for the Jimbro Warlock. And that was, you know, that was one of the ones that kind of took off of the ones that I designed, where somebody even wrote like a small little article about it. And it was really funny, you know, to see where it's like, okay, yeah, like this is something I could keep doing and keep making. And it's been struggles and hurdles. And, you know, I go out and I try and go to different communities to find critiques and criticisms, and to find suggestions and stuff like that. And I have a good friend of mine that he sees every work that I do before anyone else. You know, he has a very good eye for balance and for power scaling. And so he's the first one that I go to, and then I'll kind of adjust a couple things, and I'll make 2 copies, what my original one is and what his is. And I'll kind of look at them and, you know, take what he said and incorporate it if I feel it meshes with my original idea well. And then I go to different communities online, and I seek out, you know, their wisdom. And it's what I like doing. And so I was thinking about this a lot over the past month, you know, at the beginning of December especially, because I started thinking about the fact that I had not made something in a while. As you can see, the last time that I made something was November, and that kind of sucked that I hadn't been making anything, and I hadn't been doing, you know, this thing that I enjoy, because the only time I started looking at it as a retrospect, the only time that I would make something is when I would get like a random burst of inspiration, and it would just be this thing that tickles my fancy, and I'd make it, like, you know, a comment or a prompt or a meme. But I wanted to set myself something that I could do for 2024 that would keep me in order, that would keep me straight in line, and would be something that I could really take my time with. And so I thought, okay, well, what if I make, what if I do a subclass? Like I'll make a subclass once a month. I thought about Dungeon 23 and I'm like, doing it every day is just out of the question. Obviously, you can't make content every single day. It's, physically impossible. But I was like, okay, but what if I have like, each week I work on something different, and I allow us to go through like the entire month with it. So it's like, I could start with a subclass and I could build something that would have like a theme to it. And then I could maybe make like a race or a background, something that would associate with that same theme. And then I was like, well, I could also do spells one week and I could do magic items one week. And then I started getting, inspired by this, and I thought, okay, well, what would my themes be? I could do each month being a different theme. And, I was like, okay, well, let's go on the line and let's look up, what are some themes for each month? Like, what do people see as representations of those months? And that was kind of the first step that got me into doing this. And I started really liking this idea more and more. And funny enough, as I was getting stoked about this, and as I was like coming up with plans in my heads, it's like the ever burning candle getting closer and closer to the day that I'm a father, still sticks with me. And I'm like, am I gonna have time every week to devote to this? And it's like, well, sure, because it's all thought, it's messages here and there. I'm not having to kill myself with this. Oh, maybe the music's a little louder. Hold on. So I was like, and you know what? Hey, maybe for 1 month, maybe I don't do a race and a background, but I do a race, or I do a background. Or maybe, 1 month I don't do a monster, or I don't do a magic items. Maybe I just focus on like spells and feats and stuff like that. And so this is kind of where it's brought me. So the main idea with this year of 2024 is that we're going to be making this collection of content, and we're going to associate calendar back into it. This is going to be Calendir's collection. So the Mad Chronourgist, or the Mad Chronomancer, who built that crazy dungeon that, we never even got to see the majority of it. He's been out there, he's been out there gathering some information, gathering some resources, and we're going to see that bit by bit. That's what we're going to be building. We're going to be building Calendir's collection, and I have to make some art for him. Well, not make it. I use ChatGPT for all my art. But yeah, so I guess to really start things off, here's the themes for each month. Obviously I have some details for stuff, but here's the year that I have in mind for this. So January, Frostfell Adventures. Embrace the cold and snow of winter. Everything with that is going to be based around ice, frost, cold, snow. It's going to be about winter. February, Court of Love and Valor, where romance meets chivalry in a dance of destiny. This is going to be stuff. Excuse me. Sorry. So this is going to be stuff for February where we're going to look at things of like a chivalrous knight, like a knight's knight. You know, a background. One of the ideas I had for a background for that was like a matchmaker, somebody that knows people, that's very, very understanding of emotions and insight and stuff like that. But, you know, I think about like a monster. One of the things that stood out to me with like February being Valentine's Day and being, you know, about love, what comes with love is jealousy. You know, you can't have you always have to have a certain amount of jealousy in a relationship, because if you aren't jealous to some degree, you don't care if somebody were to take the person that you're with. There always has to be a very small amount of jealousy to drive you to hold on to the things that we love. So, but what if that's amplified? What if we have a monster that is birthed out of jealousy? A monster that has like, you know, tendrils and claws, that grips and grabs and does not let go. Something that holds on. And while you're held, you're enchanted, you're charmed. Something like that. So, March comes with the renewal of the land. It's the beginning of spring. Okay, there's strong winds. It's the winds of change that come with spring and spring cleaning and stuff like that. So this is Windborne Tales. Irish. Oh yeah, okay. Luck of the Irish, March, St. Patrick's Day. You know what? I will be honest with you. I'm not married to these ideas. So if that's something that we want to do, I'm okay with that. I mean, we got 3 months before then, so we got time to adjust that. These were just the initial ideas. The idea that I had was like this time of renewal, of change, and the winds of change. So this was going to be like air elemental creatures. One of the things I thought of with this was like a rogue or a monk that is able, like a monk was the first thing, but like an airbender, you know, having a monk that is able to create bursts of wind with every one of their punches, that's able to walk on air for a few steps and stuff like that. In like a lion, out like a lamb. Yeah. So April, no, I think that's the phrase. Yeah, in like a lion, out like a lamb. Ooh. Yeah, when March starts, it's still winter, and by the end of the month, spring has begun. Yeah. So that's beware the Ides of March. That's another good one. I didn't even think about that one. Oh, that would play cool into kind of following up with Love and Valor is the Ides of March. That's cool. Well, I mean, wait, the Ides of March, that was wasn't that also about like, or am I thinking, no, you know what I'm thinking of another phrase that's I'm thinking of what am I thinking of? It's remember, yeah, beware the Ides of March, or remember the Ides of March, but I keep thinking of remember the 5th of November. Yeah. Okay, yeah, see, this is the thing. This is what I'm loving. Even right here, for just 1 month, there's already different things coming from the community. This is what I'm hoping for, that we'll get more and more of. April. So obviously, I thought of April. That immediately comes with, you know, April showers bring May flowers. So that to me, rain falls. But I wanted something else. Like water is just kind of okay. But for me, yeah, April is tax season. Oh God, yeah, I don't even want to think about that. April to me, like one of the things that come with that come with like mists and rain is one, like obscuring your vision, okay, but also revealing stuff. You know, when rains can not only wash away, the dirt of the past, but and reveal, but it can also obscure. So April right now is Rainfall and Mysteries, unveil the secrets hidden beneath the spring showers. And I want to say I had help writing these. These are not all original taglines. May, obviously April showers bring May flowers. So May, floral fantasy, bloom into a realm where every petal tells a story. So for May, it's going to be, I thought very heavily about this, and I probably will do a druid for that month, as long as we keep with that theme of like a druid that is a flower druid, somebody that can bring forth life from the flowers, or even use it for like scintillating colors that can beguile enemies, or going a step further and having it be something related to bees. Flowers and bees are always something very big. And well, I know that there are like the Swarm Keeper Ranger, or you could even like reflavor the fungal druid, the spore druid, into like a bee kind of thing. I very much am probably going to do that one as a druid of some kind, just because I feel like it could really fit that. June, dandelions are on bees' first food. Oh, there you go. Oh, see that right there, that word, dandelions, that's the monster. That's the monster for that month. A giant flower lion called a dandelion that has like 3 phases, where it's like, because like dandelions are like the weed, they're the yellow one, and then they're the puffball. You could have like 3 different versions of them. But yeah, like I said, I really think something like a blossom druid is it's kind of what I had in mind, harnessing the powers of flowers, and having, even having stuff like medicines, something that uses the flowers, or like herbalism, having it be maybe like a very like herbalism themed subrate or subclass, or even having that be the background that month of a floral herbalist, somebody that is proficient with herbalism and is able to take mundane flowers and plants and turn them into simple remedies of like lesser healing potions and something like that. Moving on to June, we have sunlit celebrations. Bask in the radiant joy of summer's warm embrace. So obviously June, we're starting to get into summer. So this is where we're going to start having something like fire-based abilities. We had cold in January. We have, another element, air, in, March. Unless we change that. But now we get into sun. We get into summer, and I already had an idea. I had a semi idea for this one, and it actually plays into a character that one of my players is already playing in my library game, which he's playing an Eclipse Paladin, somebody who uses both the powers of the sun and the moon. And I would love to see a solar knight, like a solar based paladin, or a solar based fighter, or even like a barbarian that charges into battle with the power of the sun. Because honestly, there are 12 months, there are 12 main classes. Technically, if we include the Blood Hunter, which I might, with the Halloween, or the Artificer, with Blazes of Liberty, I definitely want to have, I don't want to try and reuse the same class multiple times. You know, it's no fun if I make like, you know, 3 bards and 3 paladins and something like that. I definitely want to try and keep them only use one. But this one I might do paladin here if I don't use it for the Court of Love and Valor. This is definitely where like some pre-planning has to come in line. But yeah, so like Sunlit Celebrations actually had the idea for a race of folk that are like empowered by the sun. I was thinking about Superman and stuff like that, where kind of the opposite of dark elves, of like, I don't want to say sun elves, because sun elves are gold elves or high elves. It's like one of the offshoots of high elves. But essentially something like that, where instead of having sunlight sensitivity, you have like darkness sensitivity in a way. Like when you're in darkness and you're away from the warmth and glow of the sun for too long, that you have some disadvantages. Because obviously I wouldn't want it to be like, oh, the moment you're in dim light you have disadvantage, but it could be something where it's like when you're in direct sunlight, you have like you gain a bonus to something. Or if you spend more than 4 hours, 4 continued hours in an area of dim light or darkness, then then you are, you have like a -1 to something or something like that. Obviously we'll have to play with that, because you have situations where you'd be like, in a room, vitamin D deficiency, that's about it. Yeah, where you like obviously you're gonna have to sleep, so, and in a room it's like you're gonna have a candle burning all the time. That's not technically direct sunlight, so we'll have to see what we do with that, but we got plenty of time before we get to there. July, obviously the 4th of July here in America. It's our big holiday. It's our Independence Day. So this one was pretty simple for me. This one is the Blaze of Liberty. Celebrate the sparks of freedoms and explosions of liberty. So this is going to be a month where the subclass idea was of a freedom fighter, somebody that is out there striving for liberty and independence, something where it is a class where you get like the ability to break free of grapples and bonds, where if somebody shackles you or ties you, you have advantage on breaking out of those. And this one might be a bard. So this one, no, it's definitely gonna have some pyrotechnics. This one might be the bard, somebody who is out there inspiring people to resist control, so being able to pass on like advantage to mind control spells and stuff like that. But obviously we want fireworks, so that is probably going to play into more of the spells, more of the magic items. Stuff like dancing lights is already a spell, and there are spells like I want to say there is a spell called pyrotechnics. Pyrotechnics. There is a spell already called pyrotechnics. So we'll have to get super creative with that. We'll have to get stuff that is a little bit more involved with it. But stuff about explosions that like banish the darkness, that's not that hard to come up with different ideas. So, but also stuff like creatures. Okay, and I don't even want to do these, like, I say monsters because it's magic and monsters for the 3rd weeks, but even something like an eagle that is even like an ally. Okay, a creature that could be an ally to the party, or an enemy, some eagle that is out there that cannot be caged, is ephemeral, you know, is a pure spirit of independence. I look forward to this month because when I think of Freedom Fighter and I think of like liberty and independence, I think of Attack on Titan, because that was the whole thing of the Attack Titan. And Eren Yeager was all about like maintaining his maintaining his independence and his freedom. So give me 1 second, I'll be right back. All right. Whew. All right, I am back. Oof, man, my nose. So I was literally struggling to breathe. I had to blow my nose so bad. All right, where was I? Oh, that's right. August. Yes. So, High Seas Adventures. This one kind of seems out of the blue a bit, but there is a reason for it. One, at the same time that I was starting to write this list and I was looking up different things, so I looked up August celebrations at one point, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in August. But the one that made me laugh was that August 8th is apparently National Sea Serpent Day. And it just made me want to make something that has to do with the oceans and stuff. So, you know, and there was other things with it, like when you look up celebrations for August, there's like World Elephant Day, World Lion Day, Friendship Day, International Beer Day. And I mean, I guess beer and grog goes with being a pirate and stuff like that. But it's also there's National Mountain Day on August 1st. All those really weird kind of goofy ones. But yeah, Sea Serpent Day was one of the ones that kind of made me laugh, and I would like to do a month where we do some pirating things. Plus, August and September are also big because August, September, and October is where we start to get Renaissance festivals. And it's the end of summer, it's the beginning of fall, and that's where we're starting to get Renaissance festivals across the country, and they always have pirate themes. So figuring around that time, there's going to be some more thematic things that I feel like I might come across. But again, I also just want to do pirate things for one of the months. Um, so speaking of Renaissance and, the, the continuation into fall, we have September, harvest and homestead, reap the bounty of the land and the fruits of togetherness. So this is going to be a month where it's all about subclasses and people that are more in tune with the earth. So where we had cold, air, fire, we had like ice, water, air, fire. This is going to be earth. One of the things that I had with this is a cleric, a harvest cleric. So I when I look at a bunch of cleric stuff, nature kind of stands out as like more druid aspect. I kind of want a harvest cleric, one that would follow the gods, not necessarily of, like it says here, of the deep forest, but having gods like Shantea, the Earth Mother, somebody who is about life, who is about growth. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the homestead. You grow your house, you grow your family. So something like this could be, a race of people who have an intrinsic tie to the land. Floral fantasy, I was kind of thinking of like floral kin, like floral creatures. But harvest homestead, this definitely plays into my mind, something that we've talked about before. And that would be the Leshy over in the Pathfinder group, where we have gourd like characters, cacti and plants. You could have something that is like a pumpkin or something like that. Can bring in those plant zombies from Rising of, oh god, those things. Yeah, the undead, I know what you're talking about. So what she's referring to is in a campaign I ran, it was a very small one. I had zombies that weren't undead. It was more, they were spores that like the plants grew into the bodies to reanimate them. So it was more like they were plant zombies. That very much could be the monster. I could see that being the case. I also had the thought of like a animated scarecrow that was coming, that like came alive. That was one of the things that I had written down as a note. Yeah, so that's going to be September. October obviously is Halloween. That wasn't even going to be a question. Delve into the eerie shadows of spooks and specters. So this is where I'm probably going to deviate from the 12 core classes. And I might go into Blood Hunter. I don't know if I 100% am yet. But that is probably going to be like the best one, because Ghost Slayer is already a thing for it. So it's like I could do something that plays off of it, but at the same time, I don't really have anything. I don't have anything that is like really perfect for it. So we'll have to see whenever we get there. Obviously, I don't want to use a bunch of home stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I already used up Ranger. I'm just gonna say that Ranger is the first month. So I had the thought of like a Ghost Hunter Ranger, because that would be pretty sick. Because we don't really have one like that as a standard, but we can come up with something. A sorcerer would actually be pretty cool. Like, oh, a ghost sorcerer? Actually, that might be what I go with. Oh, wait, that'd be sick. Sorcerer. It's almost like Aberrant Mind in a way. Or Shadow. We'll have to see. We'll get there in a few months. Yeah, so November is the Ancestral Legends. Discover the echoes of history and the tales of the forebears. So November is obviously associated with Thanksgiving. That to me was very tied to harvest as well and homestead because of family. But I thought about what would the concept of Thanksgiving be associated with within a world of D&D? And I had this idea of, so October Halloween is, All Hallowed Spirits. That is where you commemorate the dead and those of the past. Okay, that is their day. It is Halloween. So what if over the month of November, it is about honoring those stories and spirits that have led us to remember the people that we remembered on Halloween? Basically kind of taking the idea of like the Day of the Dead and remembering the stories of those that came before, but the entire month. This is the one where I kind of thought of like having a bardic class of somebody that is somebody that tells the stories of those from the past, or even like a warlock that pulls their powers not from some grand magical being, but from their own ancestor. And I kind of thought about this because I was like, well, it's basically the ancestral guardian barbarian, but I kind of have like a similar idea of you are a warlock who is, who is taking a pact with your ancestors and with those that came before you. Yeah, elves would probably be up for this. You're taking a pact with those that came before you. So, but it would, I have to figure out what that would mean, and obviously things can change. These are just the initial ideas that I have. I actually have this thing pulled up. I have this whole thing pulled up on another screen because I'm going to do this real fast. Keep in mind. But I have 8 pages of, what the fuck did I just do? Yeah. What the hell's going on? Why is it selecting stuff really weird? But yeah, you can see I got a lot of stuff written down. So that is going to be November, and then December, winter festivities, join in the cheer of a world wrapped in winter's merry magic. Now, December, I was like, okay, to me, that's the start of winter. There's obviously a crossover with Frostfell Adventures. That was the first month that I had envisioned. This one being more about the cold and ice itself, whereas December, that's more about the holidays. That's going to be about celebrations. That's going to be about festivities. This is where the bard really spoke to me of, imagine a bard who's all about spreading cheer, spreading joy through music and stories, where they're able to bolster their allies and enchant creatures with merriment. Literally, like, this is where, like, Christmas elves could be a race, and, like, the backgrounds could be toy maker, like a specific artisan, but one that is like just that made toys. So like I said, I don't know. I don't know what all is gonna be. Like I said, I have notes that I have started to prepare for. But for right now, they are just notes. Gingerbreadians, yeah. That was one of them. So getting into that and starting to talk about what this month is gonna be, we take a look at what we have here, which is January. Frostfell Adventures, Embrace the Cold and Snow of Winter. So as you can see, I have outlined the subclass I want to design, which is a winter survivalist, specializing in enduring extreme cold, tracking in snow, and utilizing natural resources in winter landscapes. Abilities include improved cold resistance, dealing cold damage, and slowing enemies down. This was the one that, like, when I started wanting to do this project, this was the first one that I started building into, because the idea of an Arctic Ranger that is able to slow enemies down, that was like the first thing that I started thinking about when I was like, okay, what does it mean to embrace the cold and snow of winter? And so I have already done a fair share of work on this one, to the point that I've gotten some like outside feedback and put together pretty much most of what it's gonna be. So I will show you that here. Hibernation, that could be a thing that we play into. That would be that'd be like a cool feat or something like that. That's what it means to embrace slow winter. I could see that being something like a feat. Like, once, I don't know how that, man, that would be something. Have it be something where it's like, you know, once a day you're able to enter a state of hibernation where you don't need to eat, or something like that, or you're able to enter states of hibernation where your movement speed is slowed, but during this period you have like disadvantage on dexterity checks or something like that, but during this time you don't need to eat. That would be really weird. I don't know if that would be a feat or if that would be like a spell. I could see that being a feat. I could actually see that being a real good feat. Walking hibernation. Put this in here. Why is that so big? Walking hibernation. As an action, you are able to enter a state of semi-hibernation. During this time, your what's what I'm looking for? Your core bodily functions slow down and allow you to use limited resources more effectively. During this time, your core bodily functions slow down. Why is it doing that? Okay. Your core bodily, and during this time, your core bodily functions slow down, but allow you to use limited resources more effectively. You need to eat. You only need to eat once a week in order to avoid exhaustion. Your movement speed is reduced by 10 feet. You have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. You gain advantage on Constitution saving throws. So you're sacrificing dexterity saving throws for con saves, which granted con saves are the most common due to spells and environmental hazards. But depending on the campaign, Constitution is pretty big. Okay, I don't want to separate these necessarily like pros and cons, but it's kind of what I'm doing at this point. So let me put a line between these. You need to sleep 4 extra hours per day. No, maybe not 4, 2. So this is going to be a 10-hour rest. 10 hours per rest. What would be you know what? You know what the main thing is gonna be? So one of the core ideas behind D&D mechanics is class features. Good for those who don't need sleep as much anyway, or no. So I would say if you don't need to sleep, it would avoid that. But this would add into something like if an elf took this is adding into whatever their trance time is. Yeah, obviously if you have something like Aspect of the Moon, you know, that makes it so you don't need to sleep anymore. I don't know. I don't want to put so many disadvantages on it because then it just makes it not worth taking. But so yeah, I mean, I'll let that play out because those things, yeah, your race is going to play into that. Elves obviously trance, Warforges go into sentry mode. But if you have Aspect of the Moon, if you're a warlock, you know, you've obviously built into that, so it's fine. Believe me, the reduction in speed and disadvantage to dex is already enough of a penalty. I think the main thing, though, we're going to play into, what makes this so good is that it allows you to use limited resources more effectively. And I think what we can play into with that is something along the line, and I don't know how I'm going to word this, but it is going to be, we're just going to put it how I speak it. You gain an extra use of your core class ability. So what I'm thinking is, if you are playing a barbarian and have taken the walking hibernation feat, you are able to enter this, and during that time, you could rage 3 times at first level. You could rage an additional time per day. Or if you are, say, a paladin, you would get an extra use of your sacred oath. Okay? I don't know how powerful, I don't know if that's way too powerful, but like your channel divinity, because it says, you know, you must finish a short or long rest. You only have one use of that. So it would be so hard to word this. Like, what is a core class ability? You know, that's hard to like, is that extra attack? Probably not. But it would be something like the Barbarian Rage or the Bard's Bardic Inspiration, the Cleric's Channel Divinity. It would be the Druid's Wild Shape. It would be the Fighter's Action Surge. It would be the Monks. They would get another key point. That would be their thing. They would get another key point. Paladin would be their would be their channel divinity, their sacred oath. Ranger might be their favored foe, but that's optional. Rogues don't really have like a thing that they burn through. Their stuff is all just like, hey, you just have to meet this requirement. You know, like sneak attack is just like, hey, you have to do this thing, but you know, you just have it. Cunning action requires you to use a bonus action. And steady aim is just that you don't have to move. But when we get into stuff like the archetypes, obviously Arcane Trickster is going to get access to spells. Phantom is going to get their coins. So that doesn't come till 9th level. Sorcerers have their font of magic, so they would get more meta magic. They get more sorcery points. Warlocks probably get another invocation, but that's really powerful. Maybe another spell slot. That might be their thing. Like they get another spell slot or something like that. And wizard, again, they might just get like another cantrip or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how that would be used. I don't know what all that would mean. I'm gonna send this to my friend. I'm gonna get his opinion of it for later. One moment. I'm gonna see what he thinks about this, because this is a lot already in itself. Oh, the problem I have with this is I don't know what constitutes a core class ability, and if it would even be something I could mechanically work with. What are your opinions? See what he says later. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the only thing that I could like, you gain an extra use of your core ability class, or are able to recover an expended class resource, and I'm like, maybe in parentheses, spell slots, key points, sorcery points, something like that. Like, say hi from me on the radio. That's something that it could be. You know what? If we're going with advantage on, if we're going with oh, you know what? You know what? Maybe we're looking. Maybe I'm looking at it a different way. Your core bodily functions slow down, almost like doubling the amount of time that your body has to do something. So what if we did something here? Wait, I gotta do this. We're gonna do con pro. I don't know why I did them this way. Hold on. Nope. So what if we did, so in line with you gain advantage on Constitution saving throws, you are able to concentrate on spells twice as long. Let's rephrase that. When you cast a spell, how can I know how I want it worded. It's very specific. When you cast a spell that requires concentration, the time that you can, when you cast a spell that requires concentration, the duration of that spell is doubled. There you go. Something like that would make Walking Hibernation really good for spellcasters. Okay? Like, concentration spells, there's a shit ton of concentration spells. 228 that require concentration. Imagine if you could have your beasts for up to 2 hours, you know, or you could cast spike growth for 20 minutes, or, you know, I mean, something like Shadow Blade. Most combats don't go longer than 10 rounds, and that's what Shadow Blade is. But like, man, anything of these fly? If you could fly for 20 minutes, or cast haste where your speed is doubled, you know, something like that would be pretty intense. I mean, especially once we start getting into higher levels. Mass polymorph for up to 2 hours, invulnerability for 20 minutes. We got all kinds of stuff. Delayed fireball for 2 minutes. So yeah, something like that would be really cool to play into. You could even have it where, like, more of a generic thing. You gain temporary hit points equal to, what can we do? This is more about Constitution than anything else. So Maybe you gain temporary hit points equal to your Constitution. We gotta rephrase that. Modifier plus level or something like that. And then we also have to put a limit on this itself. When you enter this state, you gain the following benefits. And then down here, we're going to put once you use this feature, you cannot use it again till you finish a long rest. Because that's definitely going to be one of the things that has to be that's definitely one of the things that has to be wrong one, that has to be put into that is like, you wouldn't just be able to use this like over and over and over and over in a day, but because that would pump these up too much if that's something we went with. But wait, is it can't or can't? It's can't. Let me see here. How's that phrasing? I know that phrasing is very specific. Here we go. Yeah, that's it. That's what I thought it was. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we got rid of that, but it's like this is something that would like last a day. Like during this time, benefits, this state remains active until you finish a long rest. So use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish the long rest. So you could use like once a day. Basically, you would have it, and it's there until you finish a long rest. But it's like the moment you wake up, you could bump that on, and it lets you basically have it like each day. But you're definitely playing into the disadvantages of it, where, I would even say going so far as to say, oh my God. I would even go so far as to say, in this state, you are like slowed down so much, your movement speed is reduced, you have disadvantage on dex saves, and you have disadvantage on perception checks, because like it's realistically like your ability of just like not having full awareness of your surroundings, because you're in like you're in a state of semi hibernation, you're in like partial hibernation. I just want to point out, we've basically done week 4, part of week 4 for this month today, day 1. I really like this feat. So thank you, Stacy, for that. I think it's a cool feat. Something that I have to be played with, obviously. Did he message me back? You could do something where you recover limited amount of resources, but it's going to be specific to class which is going to be a struggle. If you did, it would have to be very limited, and you would have to be specific with the class. Oh god, that would be a nightmare. Yeah, I agree with that. You'd almost have to say, like, you'd almost have to put in here, like, each individual thing that the classes get, you know, like you'd almost have to list it like artificer +1 item, +1 item infusion, and barbarian +1 rage per day, or something like that. Like you'd have to go in, you'd have to go in and like do each one separately, and then you'd have to figure out the exact balance, because a +1 key point, you know, +1 rage gives them an extra rage for the day, and that's 1 extra encounter. But 1 extra key point is not the same. 1 key point is not the make or break it at late levels, but an extra rage per day could be. I mean, and also an extra item infusion is ridiculously high as well. See, so here's the problem. If we do it by, like, determined by your DM, the whole thing becomes fluff. That's the problem. Like, I would want this to be something that has like a mechanic that is recoverable. Something that, or it's not recoverable, something that is concrete. So I don't know. Oh. You know what? You know what? Oh, you know what? What if instead you gain temporary hit points equal to your Constitution modifier? You are able to spend hit dice to recover hit points without the need for a short rest. When I mentioned hibernation, I imagined more of a spell. Yeah, I thought about that too. Like something that would like reduce your speed by half, and also like it would reduce your speed by half, and if the creature's hit points are less than their maximum movement speed or something like that, or like less than half of their movement speed, then they would fall asleep. You know, I had that same thought. You could do a spell where it's like hibernation, as an action, target one creature that you can see within 60 feet. That creature must make a, I don't know. I don't want to say dexterity. Constitution. That creature must make a Constitution saving throw. against your spell save DC. On a failure, the creature's speed is reduced by half, and if their speed, if their current hit points are less than their new speed, new movement speed, I guess we'll say they're reduced. Reduced movement speed. They fall asleep. Conscious. They fall unconscious till the start of your next turn. On a success, their speed is reduced, but they suffer no other effects. So yeah, hibernation could definitely be something like that, where it's like there's a creature 60 feet away, they make a con save. If they fail it, their speed's reduced by half. So let's say that they have 30-foot movement speed, okay? If their hit points are less than 15, they fall asleep. They fall unconscious, okay? If they succeed, their speed is reduced. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it just doesn't happen. But I still like having their speed reduced. Their speed is reduced by 10 feet, but they suffer no other effects. So something like that could play into it. But yeah, walking hibernation. This could be more something about like keeping yourself constituted. Okay, this could really play into being something that is really focused on constitution. So you gain temporary hit points. So once a day, when you enter this state of semi-hibernation, you gain temporary hit points equal to your constitution modifier plus level. So figure this is probably going to be a barbarian or something like that. So you're going to probably have a 4 or 5 to your constitution. We'll say probably 4, because it's going to be between 3 and 5. And then, so plus your level. So technically speaking, if you are getting a feat at a standard level, you're not going to get a feat until 4th level. So you're going to start out with, you gain 8 temporary hit points. While you are in this state, you are able to spend hit dice to recover hit points without needing to short rest. So it's like you get into a fierce battle and everybody, you know, you're the barbarian, you're up front, you're tanking, and you take some hits, okay? And at the end of combat, the cleric or somebody's like, all right, who needs to heal up? You know, it's like, you know, so-and-so, the wizard needs health and blah, blah, blah. You could just be like, nope, I'm good. And you just like you enter this state of like semi-hibernation where your body kind of hunches over, your eyes droop a little, but it's like you get into this state where your body starts to naturally heal faster. All of a sudden your metabolism slows, so you don't need to eat as much. You're gonna gain bonuses to constitution, and granted, the whole spell thing, that would definitely play well if you were playing like a wizard or something like that, because like I said, there's a lot of fucking spells that this would be really good for. But the reality is like you're probably not gonna need more than a minute on most of these, but utility wise, something like doubling the time for polymorph, I mean, that could be huge, especially if you're doing it with something like, you know, utility, like infiltration and something like that. Going from 1 hour of working time to 2 is pretty impressive. But the con, your movement speed's reduced by 10 feet. In most cases for a barbarian, that's not going to be the end of the world, because your goal is going to be get up to the enemy and stick next to them until they're dead. So this is definitely going to favor a barbarian. Now, the disadvantage to dexterity saves, it's actually not the worst thing because of the barbarian with danger sense. Because at second level, they have advantage on saves. So granted, they're not going to get their advantage, but that kind of balances that out. Like, this would be rocking for a barbarian. Also, your barbarian's probably not going to be the one with a high wisdom, so they're probably not going to care so much about perception checks. But you would have to account, the entire party would have to manage the fact that your barbarian needs to sleep an extra 2 hours. You need to sleep 2 extra hours during the next long rest. There we go. I had to reword that. Like I said, this has some major penalties because they're a bear. Yeah. This would be sick to play as like a bear totem barbarian. You just get into that, like, it's like once a day. I mean, and this is almost like permanent. State remains active. You know what? There's part of me that wants to do. Hold on. As an action, you are able to enter a state of semi-hibernation for a number of hours equal to your Constitution modifier. There we go. There we go. You can't have it all day. In my opinion, this would be way too powerful to have all day. Okay? Like, all day you're getting advantage on con saves. All day you would be able to double your concentration spells. All day. You know what? And so we'll have to rephrase this then. Oh, wait, that's easy, actually. No, that's super easy. Hold on. Where's the rules for exhaustion? Page 291. Wait, food, scanner, food, drink, and lodging, food and water. I think this is where we're gonna look. A character needs 1 pound of food per day and can make food last longer by subsisting off half rations. Eating a half pound of food in a day counts as half a day without food. A character can go without food or water a number of days equal to 3 plus his or her Constitution modifier. At the end of each day beyond that, they automatically suffer 1 level of exhaustion. A normal day of eating resets to 0. Okay, this is what we needed to get into. So, okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I need to go split screen here. But I gotta adjust things on my stream up here. Split that up. Pull this up. Switch this over to, where's it at? I was wondering why actually this one seemed higher. This window seemed higher than it normally is. Anyway. All right. Oh wait, that's why. For some reason that is now. That was actually here. I got distracted by music. It sounds similar to what you play at the start of. Oh. Yeah. I mean, it's like tingling bells and stuff like that. I can see that. All right. So the amount of days you can go without food. So a character can go without food a number of days equal to 3 plus con. So this barbarian standard could go a week. So I'm going to say it's doubled. Simple. It's simple. You go 2 weeks before you start to get exhaustion. This plays into the whole idea of it, like, you know, advantage on Constitution saving throws is the exhaustion saves. And honestly, there's a part of me that wants to remove that, but I don't necessarily want to. So, yeah, I really like that. I think this is a great start. I think it's a great start. All right, I'm gonna get rid of those. Get rid of this. This is a lot. This is a fucking lot. Poofa, that is a lot. Well, it has to get truncated. It has to get truncated. Like, most spells are not that many things. They're like 2 or 3 things. Is way too much. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're getting rid of the temporary hit points. They don't need to be there. All right, we're gonna get rid of the temporary hit points. I like this idea of you can spend your hit dice to recover hit points without the need of a short rest. Wait. As an action. There we go. So while you're in this state as an action, you're able to spend hit dice to recover hit points. Okay. The amount of days you can go without food is doubled. You gain advantage on Constitution saving throws. We're going to get rid of the spells. We are getting rid of spells. So when talking about the spell idea, can something take away your... There's a lot of things that can take away reaction. Stuff like confusion does that. Or wait, not confusion. What's the one? Fuck, I can't even... What is it? Is it? Oh, it's slow. Yeah. So slow gets rid of reactions. So, you know, creature speed is halved. It takes a -2 penalty to AC and Dex. It can't use reactions. So Arms of Hadar, Confusion, Shocking Grass, Slow, Staggering Smite, and Tasha's Mind Whip. Those are the spells that can do it. But you'll see, this is actually already something that I've played into. Okay, we're gonna cut that out real quick. We're gonna put this down here. You need to sleep 2 extra hours during the next long rest. It's hit dice to recover hit points. Or no, as an action, you can spend hit dice to recover hit points. The amount of days you can go without food is doubled. You know what? As great as this is, this actually doesn't play well into it. Because this is almost something like it needs to be... yeah, that's got to be taken out. Because this is something where if it was like an extended thing... So when you enter the state, as an action, you can spend... So you know what? Let's... As an action, you are able to spend hit dice to recover hit points. Let's get rid of that. When you exit this state, you need to sleep 2 extra hours during the next long rest. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Yeah. So you can still use it every day. Can only use it for a number of hours equal to your Constitution modifier. But during that time, so when you enter that state, you gain those temporary hit points equal to your con mod plus your level. So realistically, that's going to be like 8, and it could go up to 28. So that's decent. You can spend hit dice to recover hit points. You gain advantage on con saves. And when you cast a spell that requires concentration, the duration of that spell is doubled. This would actually be really good for a wizard. I'm just saying, like, as a wizard, this would be great for a wizard or a barbarian. Like, it's two ends of, well, like, the spectrum of, like, classes, but, like, gaining temporary hit points. Wizards are super spongy. As an action, you can spend hit dice to recover hit points. You could just beef yourself back up real quick if you're low. Gaining advantage on Constitution saves means that you are gaining advantage on your concentration saves. Honestly, I'm just thinking of getting rid of those. That's it. I think having your movement speed reduced by 10 is already enough of a penalty. Yeah. Plus, I also don't want it to be like so shitty. I don't want it to be like something so shitty that you don't want to use it. You know, that's a big thing, you know, with feats is like, this just gives you benefits. You know, athletes just gives you benefits. You know, there's not very many benefits that it's like, oh, you get so many good things, but this. I just think it makes sense for this to have a, you know, your movement speed is reduced. You know, you're slower. So, yeah. getting away from this for a moment, getting away from the spells and feats, we got plenty of time to work on that. And I love the fact that this is something that we got into. But I have already actually worked a fair bit on the race. And we can take a look at that. Just make sure that this is the right version. I think this is the right version. So, this is actually the subclass that I put together. Because I got very excited about building this, you know. When I started thinking about this, I was like coming up with different things, you know, that I could play into. Yes, so with this, I did move away from red text because each month is going to have it's gonna have the theme of that month. So obviously Frostfell Adventures would not be red. You know, it's it might be like, you know, the Court of Love and Valor could probably be pink. Windborne Tales might be gray or like stark white, 'cause technically I don't use actually white on these. This is all technically a gray color, but I want to kind of keep it like thematic for the most part. The background though will probably stay the same, just because that's very much like the background that I use. So I started thinking a lot about what would I want in a ice-based ranger. That was the first thing that came to my mind, was like I wanted to do a ranger for this, because I do like rangers, but I feel like one of the things that is kind of meh about them is that while it is true that they have the natural explorer and the favored terrain ability that lets them get certain benefits inside favored terrains, I kept looking at the different subclasses, and Gloomstalker was one of the ones that really caught my eye, of like, this is a subclass that's all about like catching your enemies off guard. And so I wanted to more play into something like that, but it was all about ice slowing down enemies. Okay. And I thought about how sick would it be? Oh God, the fucking formatting. How sick would it be to have a ranger who is out there basically hunting enemies down by freezing them in their tracks? So that's what we got going on here, and I'll go through all this, but the flavor text is: in the heart of the frozen tundra, where the snow never melts and the cold bites like 1,000 needles, the Frostwalker Rangers thrive. Born of ice and snow, these rangers are the masters of the frozen wilderness. They move with the silence of falling snowflakes and strike with the ferocity of a blizzard. So, the expanded spell list. If you did not know, a lot of rangers do have expanded spell lists. I doubled up technically, but the thing to keep in mind, this is not that something like when the Gloomstalker gets additional spells. So like a Gloomstalker automatically knows Disguise Self and Rope Trick and stuff like that, and they just get that. This is more of an expanded spell list where you get access to these. So Armor of Agathis is a spell that coats you in ice and allows you to get some extra hit points. Oop. you get extra hit points, but also when creatures hit you, they take damage. So this is more about the protection aspect. Create and destroy water. I had this really cool thought of like creating water to like almost create ice in frozen conditions. Hold person, slow, and hold monster all have the same play style. It's all about control and slowing somebody down and stopping them. Misty Step plays into the mobility of a Frostwalker Ranger being able to move. The only other spell that I did not give to this Ranger was Expeditious Retreat. What's up, Ms. Roy? But the reason for that is because I didn't know if I wanted to go with Create or Destroy Water or Armor of Agathis. So I'm still not I'm still not like 100% sold on Create or Destroy Water. I might swap that for Expeditious Retreat because I do think that it fits about like the mobility aspect of things. 9th level, you get Sleet Storm and Slow. 13th level, you get Conjure Minor Elemental, but it is an ice form only. And you get Ice Storm. And then at 17th level, you get Cone of Cold and Hold Monster. Now, the thing to keep in mind, Rangers are half casters, so you obviously only max out at 5th level spells, and you have less than most other race or most other classes. So the spells are definitely there just to augment a little, but that's why I wanted to offer it a bit of an expanded spell list, give it some more options that come with it. But the main design of the class here is the 3rd level ability, Frostbite Strike. At 3rd level, your strikes become imbued with numbing frost. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can deal an extra 1d6 cold damage to the target and reduce its speed by a number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus until the start of your next turn. If this reduces a target's speed to 0, they must make a Constitution saving throw or be stunned for 1 round as ice coats their body. This damage increases to 2d6 at 7th level and 3d6 at 13th. So this is where we're starting to see that speed reduction, that the 2 words that come with this class, mobility, control. You are controlling the mobility of the battlefield. This honestly leads me to I'm probably gonna switch out Expeditious Retreat instead of Create or Destroy Water because it fits the theme better now that I really think about it. But when you hit a creature at 3rd level, you have a proficiency bonus of 2. So that means that starting off at 3rd level, you are reducing a creature's speed by 10 feet, okay? Which isn't crazy, okay? You're probably not going to reduce their speed by to 0 because most creatures have more than 10 feet of movement. Not all, but most. But once you start getting up into higher levels, and remember, you get higher proficiency bonus at, I believe, every 5th level. Let me double check. Beyond 1st level. Sorry, yeah, every 4 levels after 5th, yeah. So at 5th level, you're reducing it by 15 feet. At 9th level, you're reducing it by 20. 13th, you're reducing it by 25. Finally, 17th level, you're reducing their speed by 30 feet. 30 feet, you're pretty much guaranteeing that they're going to have to take that. Is it all movement speed or just ground? I would say I would probably say this is going to be that's a great question. I'll have to adjust this. Hold on. Let me rearrange these windows. It's gonna be a pain in the butt, but I have to do it this way. There's a reason I have to do it this way. And it's all because of OBS. Actually, I can close out my compendium and dungeon scroll. And then we're going to put this over here. And we're going to recapture this. And then I can go in and do this. And oh, nope, didn't want to do that. And I can go into here. That's a great question, and I should probably adjust that to account for that thought process. I mean, slow lowers all movements. Does slow lower all movement? An affected target's speed is halved. Oh, you know what? No. I think you're right. I want to say that I want to say Hawketh is onto something in the fact that movement speed is, if something affects movement speed, it affects all movement speed. Opportunity attacks, no. Not mounted combat. Freedom of movement might be something good to look into. Here we go. Movement. Okay. DM can summarize movement without calculating exact blah, blah, blah. You travel through the forest, blah, 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 blah. Speed. Lower speed by 10. Okay. Every character or monster has a speed, which is the distance, blah, 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 blah. Travel pace. Don't need to worry about that. Special types of movement. Okay. Each foot of movement costs 1 extra when you're climbing, swimming, or crawling. Okay. Jump. High jump. Combat. Your movement includes jumping these different... however, when... Your movement can include jumping, climbing, swimming. These different modes of movement can be combined with walking, or they can constitute your entire move. However you're moving, you deduct the distance of each part of your move from your speed until it is used up or until you're done moving. The special type of movement section... being prone, flying movement. Yeah, I want to say... I want to believe that it is that if something reduces your movement. Yeah, well, no. So speed's not just speed. The thing that that's being brought up here is the fact that something like an Aarakocra, for example, if you are fighting an Aarakocra and you cast this on them, is it, if I'm reducing an Aarakocra speed by 10 feet, then technically their walking speed has hit the threshold at which they need to make a Constitution saving throw with this ability. But their fly speed is 50 feet, which would reduce it to 40, which would be more than the 25 feet needed to make them make that Constitution saving throw. So I guess it's one of those things, like an Aarakocra has the benefit of being able to fly and being able to move faster than other creatures. We're just talking about the slow spell. I withdraw my question. I thought this was... It is a subclass ability. It's a subclass ability. So the subclass ability is Frostbite Strike, and it is worded when you hit once per turn, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can deal an extra 1d6 cold damage to the target and reduce its speed by a number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus until the start of your next turn. Now, the slow spell is very specific that their affected speed is halved. But I guess this calls into question because there's a triggering effect once a certain threshold is met. And if I were to use Frostbite Strike with a bow, because it's a weapon attack, and hit a flying Aarakocra, that technically reduces their movement, their walking speed, to 10 feet, which would mean that they would need to make that save. But if at the time that they're flying, do we account for the flying speed? I think it's real. That's a great question. That's a great question. I could make it walking speed. Because there's another spell that comes into mind, which is it Lightning Lure? No. What's the spell that reduces a flying creature's speed to 0? Earthbind? Oh, it is Earthbind. Yeah, so something like this is very specific to flying speed. But other spells like slow is just speed. You know what? So here's where I'm gonna say it, and I don't know how I would put this in here, if I would have to put this somehow, or if this could honestly just be left up to the DM. In my opinion, because flying creatures get that benefit of the fact that they are able to fly, this would affect both, and if either of these meets that threshold, they need to make the con save. Because some like an adult red dragon that has a walking speed, a climbing speed, and a flying speed, you know, and I mean, you could have a DM that could very easily say, like, okay, you want to play a Frostwalker Ranger, I'm fine with that. But the way that the first time they come across Frostbite Strike and it plays into this weird effect of a flying creature, you could have a DM that could very conceivably say, okay, at that time they were flying. They were using their fly speed. Their fly speed is 50 feet. You reduced it by 15 feet. And because of that, that does not meet the threshold. They don't have to make the save. So, but I would personally say it affects all of them. So that's me. But it's going to be dependent on the DM, so we'll leave that up to them. Okay. So, that is Frostbite Strike. Moving on to Arctic Adaptability. I wish I could bring this up. For some reason, it doesn't like when I create new ones. So, all right. Arctic Adaptability. At 3rd level, your extended time in frigid conditions has steeled your body to its chilling effects. You gain resistance to cold damage and are immune to extreme cold environments without any additional gear. Additionally, as a bonus action, you can attempt to hide when you are only lightly obscured by ice, snow, frost, or similar conditions. So this is pretty straightforward. If your race isn't already giving you a resistance to cold damage, you are getting it here at 3rd level. But also, like with the Goliath class, or Jesus class, much like the Goliath race of Mountainborn, that's basically what this is. So this is essentially the same thing. You are, you have resistance to cold damage, and you are immune to extreme cold environments. So it means that, arguably, if you are playing this subclass in an environment where it's appropriate, because let's be real here, this is a very specific subclass. This is not the kind of subclass you're going to be playing if your campaign is taking place in the Moonshae Isles or in Kalisham or in the Anarok Desert. This is going to be a class that you play when you're playing in Icewind Dale. Okay, that's the bottom line. I'm gonna use this in Avernus. That's it. You're just down there fucking slowing creatures down, using cold damage on, and you know what, hey, let's be real here, you're better off using cold damage against devils than you are using fire damage. And hey, you know what, at the end of the day, you can always go down to the 5th layer of hell. You can go down to the Stygia and hang out there with Levistus in the whole frozen expanse. So 100% you could 100% do that. All right, moving on to 7th level, Snowbound Strider. At 7th level, you learn to extend your keen sense of footing to your allies. You and allies within 15 feet of you ignore difficult terrain in snowy and icy areas and have advantage on saving throws against effects that would move you on slippery surfaces. Additionally, you can climb icy surfaces without needing to make an ability check, and your movement speed is not reduced while climbing. So 2 main things here. Basically, as long as you are within 15 feet of your allies, you know where you need to stand on ice and on slick surfaces to not fall. Okay. I worded it this way because I did not want it to be something like you have advantage on dexterity saving throws, because that would mean like fireball and stuff like that. I wanted this to be something where if you are moving on an icy surface and, making that check would cause you to fall or cause you to slip down somewhere, this is where you're going to have advantage. It's basically your keen ability to know where to stand and where to put your foot that you are passing on to your allies. And then, being that this is going to be a subclass that is about mobility, I wanted to give them something that would be a benefit for climbing without giving them an outright climb speed. So it is specifically when you're climbing an icy surface, you don't need to check, because it's more about the grip of where you're grabbing that you know how best to manage yourself. Why did it log me out? That's so weird. What the fuck? It keeps logging me out, but it's still giving me access to my library. Okay, that's really weird. Anyway, so yeah, Snowbound Strider, again, this is a lot about mobility, and that is 100% sold in my mind that I am going to change. Okay. There we go. That was a weird hiccup. All right. Hopefully I'm back up. Hopefully everybody can see and hear me now. Okay. Whew. All right. There we go. Set that now as Armor of Agathis and Expeditious Retreat. Okay. So, up next, 11th level, Glacial Guardian. At 11th level, the ice and snow have become a second skin, shielding you from harm and biting back at your attackers. As an action, you summon a protective aura of freezing air around you. For the next minute, you have advantage on all Constitution saving throws, immunity to cold damage, and any creature that hits you with a melee attack takes 2d8 cold damage and has its speed reduced by 10 feet. Once you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Additionally, spells you cast that deal cold damage now benefit from the speed reduction aspect of your Frostbite strike ability. So, two big things here. All I'm thinking about that ability is Druidic Warrior fighting style, taking shape water, climb anything where there's water nearby. Yeah, that'd be fucking sick. Ooh, that would be cool. So, Glacial Guardian is all about becoming one with the snow and ice. Again, beefing up your ability to survive in the wilderness, getting those bonuses to Constitution saves to avoid exhaustion. Again, that could even be like to maintain concentration on spells. Getting that immunity to cold damage. Again, resisting the cold, you are one with it. Also, this kind of has a built-in Armor of Agathis style effect. Considering Armor of Agathis is you gain bonus temporary hit points and you deal that many temporary hit points equal to damage when creatures hit you. This plays into that, but is also reducing their speed. And so you get that, you know, you have that for a minute. You can do that once per short rest. But additionally, now any spell that you cast that deals cold damage is going to get access to that reduction. So that in itself is a sizable list. Let's look this up real quick. So we got Ranger and we need Cold. I take that back. But wait, what? No, that can't be right. Spell doesn't reduce the movement since... You may want to word it, the spell doesn't reduce the movement since Frostbite would proc twice. What do you mean? Wait. Where's Ranger other than Magic Initiate? The variant. Why did I think they had more spells? I don't know. But anyway, this is going to give you the ability when you cast Sleet Storm, Ice Storm, or Cone of Cold. And even your Armor of Agathis, technically speaking, is going to deal that cold damage. So that Armor of Agathis deals cold damage. So from third level, you know, I mean, from 11th level, once you have that Frostbolt. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So you're basically saying at, well, so, hold on. Where is it in my mind? I'm running through the book in my mind real quick. Yeah, so that's the thing. The effect of different spells add together. The effects of the same spell cast multiple times don't combine. Is it listed anywhere else? See, I definitely see what you mean. But I would argue that since it is spells you cast that deal cold damage now benefit from the speed reduction aspect of your Frostbite strike ability, technically it is the same ability. That is the way that I would say it doesn't stack. Because I do agree that otherwise it would. Because if it was something along now I will agree that if a creature comes up, if you activate Glacial Guardian and a creature comes up and hits you and its speed is reduced by 10 feet, you can reduce it by an additional 10 feet by using Frostbite Strike. But I agree that there might be a better way to word it. Honestly, with how limited use this is, I might just remove that. I didn't realize it was so limited. I must not have had Ranger selected when I pulled up cold spells before, because I remember looking at this list and like thinking it was like due to something else, but I mean, I might just get rid of that. May just get rid of that. That might just be for the best. Okay. Well, we'll just ignore that for now. But moving on to the 15th level ability, the Capstone ability. At 15th level, your mastery over cold reaches its zenith. allowing you to completely immobilize your foes. As a reaction, when your Frostbite Strike ability reduces a target speed to 0, you can create a cone of cold. You can create a zone of intense cold around the target. Until the start of your next turn, creatures of your choice that start their turn within 15 feet of the affected target have their speed reduced by half, as the air itself seems to freeze. If the target creature fails its Constitution saving throw to avoid being stunned, the chosen creatures within 15 feet have their speed reduced to 0. So, this is once per use. When you hit a creature with your Frostbite Strike and you reduce their speed to 0, you can use your reaction to activate Absolute Zero. The creatures within 15 feet of them now have their speed reduced by half. And if that creature that you hit with your Frostbite Strike failed this con save, that causes the creatures within 15 feet of it to have their speed reduced to 0, basically creating an area of effect of a 15-foot radius of frozen enemies that, until the start of your turn, cannot move. And I'm all for this. I'm all for the reduction of mobility. That's what this whole thing was designed for. And one of the things that I want to point out with this subclass is something that I have not done with most other subclasses, but something that I feel has been pointed out to me in the past that I should be focusing on when building subclasses, is letting the 3rd level ability be the thing that builds as the class grows. So that's why not only is this increasing damage as you go, but is also playing into the later abilities, is something that is getting, mixed in and is seeing a culmination at the end. Now, obviously, you can see in this conversation, we've changed this a few times. We changed this 3 times tonight. So this is what I wanted to start working on. Interesting that one player's failed affects those around them. Is that condom? I don't think that is, but I think that's why I want this to be something unique to this subclass. This is a hunter who is so in tune with Arctic air and cold and ice that they are able to chill the air around a creature that they have slowed to a halt. So much so that the creatures around it are affected. Now, the thing is, it is only for 1 round. And realistically, the absolute 0 is once per long rest. So this isn't going to be something that this character can go out there and do all the time. Even Frostbite Strike is limited to once per turn. So it is very powerful, but that is the 15th level ability. And honestly, when it comes to 15th level abilities, I'll be straightforward. I've talked about this before. I don't usually care much for anything over like 12 and 13th level. The reason for that is because most players don't see play beyond that. And it is true that Wizards is trying to, make higher level play more accessible. But until that day actually comes, higher level features and stuff don't really play much into my mind. So I want this to be something that is powerful. I want it to be that once you reach 15th level, you're able to lock down an entire room of frost druids or of, some kind of, a bunch of like Icewind Dale kobolds that are in a room. So now, another technicality on Absolute Zero, since simultaneous effects with Ensnaring Strike and Restrain could turn their movement to 0 and lowering speed by 10 Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh. That's a good point. Oh, wait, you're saying ensnaring strike. Let's read this. Next time you hit a creature with a weapon, okay, so you use a bonus action, you cast Ensnaring Strike. You're concentrating. The next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before the spell ends, a writhing mass of thorns impacts. Creature must make a strength save or be restrained, which means their movement speed becomes 0. Which not restrained takes, okay. Since simultaneous effects with Ensnaring Strike could restrain them to turn their movement speed to 0 and lowering their speed by 10 feet. Oh, huh. That's a great point. I mean, basically, that is just, at first level, that's burning a spell slot to basically impose the stunned condition on them. Like, to impose the con save, because arguably that could. And at higher levels, running that with absolute 0, I see what you mean. Not how I'd personally roll it. So I think I might see it the same way that you do. Because technically speaking, the Ensnaring Strike would affect it first, in my opinion. Where the moment you hit them, their speed, they would make a strength save. And if they fail that, they are restrained. Which means that their speed is reduced to 0. Now, technically speaking, the wording of Frostbite Strike is that if this reduces, so they are having their speed reduced by a number equal to that. Now, if this reduces their speed to 0, technically speaking, their speed is unaffected by Frostbite Strike because their speed became 0. Now, if it was that their speed became 1 or an infinitesimally small number over 0, it can't go, you cannot reduce it to 0. So Ensnaring Strike would not work. So yeah. That would be something. Yeah. I don't think that would mesh. But yeah, I definitely see it the way that you do. But I could see a player basically looking at, now, there is another aspect to that. Okay? Sorry, my back. There is another aspect to that, which is, and I don't know if this was in the book. I don't know if this was in the book, if it was in the PHB. I'm going to look up order. But there was a point that I don't know who made it. But it was basically along the lines of, if multiple effects are happening at one time, then it is the person. Okay, it was Xanathar's. Okay. I'm glad that you know what I'm referring to. It's for those that don't, it is basically that if multiple things are going off at one time, the person that is implementing those effects chooses, here it is. Most effects in the game happen in succession, following an order set by the rules or the DM. In rare cases, effects can happen at the same time, especially at the start or end of a creature's turn. If two or more things happen at the same time on a character or monster's turn, the person at the game table, whether player or DM, who controls that creature decides the order in which those things happen. Okay. Thank you so much, Hawketh. I appreciate you knowing that. So that brings me to the point of... Oh, where are we at? Ensnaring Strike. So that would bring me to the point of, if you did this, it actually wouldn't benefit you one way or the other casting Ensnaring Strike, because arguably you'd be reliant on Frostbite Strike, reducing their speed first. And Ensnaring Strike happening first already reduces their speed, and you can't reduce their speed anymore if it's already 0. So yeah, no, 100%. I think if a player was at a table making a rule, like trying to make the ruling of, I cast Ensnaring Strike and that makes their speed 0, and Frostbite Strike is going to reduce their speed, and it's technically reducing it down to 0 because, 10 minus 0 is still 0, but it's not, it's -10. But I appreciate you giving me that, I appreciate that, because that is one of those things that, I have to consider. So yeah, good thinking on that. But yeah, so like I said, I wanted to start talking about this tonight, the first show of the month that we're doing, and just get you guys some eyes on these projects. So this is the first week of the month. We're talking about the Frostwalker Ranger. A lot of great chatter already on it, and I will be posting a link to this. So this is going to have this should be the most updated version. No, it's not. That still has create and destroy water. So I am going to link out to the most recent version of it. Hopefully I can get this working, because for some reason it's not updating the latest version. So I'm going to have to figure out why that is. And oh wait, hold on. I wonder, is that because of is that my browser? My browser's been acting weird recently, and I might have to reset it. Oh, would you look at that? Okay. Yeah. It's just my browser. It's literally just my browser. So it's not updating this URL, but it updates it in my other thing. Yep. Okay, that's weird. So I will be posting a link to this over in the Discord. So if you didn't already see, over in the Discord, and you can get to the Discord by my hand disappeared, by going to kelscorner.com. There is a new Calendars Calendars collection over there with Frostfell Adventures, and inside that you're going to see there's different threads for the subclass, for the background and race, for the magic items and monsters, and the spells and feats. So if you have any suggestions, if you have any ideas, if there are thoughts that you have, stuff like, these awesome hibernation based spells and feats that we came up with today, post them over there. Talk about them. Give me your ideas, or just come back here. I'm gonna try and keep up with the Monday night D&D&Chill sessions. My schedule going forward, I'm still opening on Mondays, or I'm back opening on Mondays now, so I should be able to work on that a little bit, and be able to do these streams a little bit more, because A lot of times on Mondays I'd close, I'd get home and just be exhausted. So Mondays, now that I'm opening again, I should be able to maintain these weekly Monday streams. But again, as I have talked about a few times already, I'm moving into the role of fatherhood come mid-February. So just want you guys to know that, you know, my schedule might change a bit, but I will keep you guys posted if that is the case. Yeah, so beyond that, just as a quick little sneak peek to those of you that might be curious, I think this is the most up-to-date version. I've already kind of revealed the name of the race over in the Discord, but I will give you a look at the race. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can I do this? Can I do this in the way that if I change this screen, you guys won't see it? No, you guys will totally see it if I do it that way. Okay. Hold on. Let me move this over there. And you know what? No, I'm going to do it this way. Do it this way. So I won't show you all the details because I have already put together a lot of stuff for it, but I'm just going to be real sneaky. I'm going to be real quick with it, and I'll give you the picture of it, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So boom. There it is. There's the inspiration for the race. You can already see the name over in the Discord. It is known as the Yetikin. So, a race descended from ancient Yetis who've adapted to the treacherous high altitude environment of the snowy mountains. And there's the quick, and it's gone. So, if you go back and you can see anything in that, kudos to you. But that's probably going to do it for me tonight. It's been 3.5 hours. We've been going pretty strong with this. Something tells me they will have radiant resistances. Yeah. They have a resistance, I'll tell you that much. But I will, I'll leave you guys, with this. I just want to say thank you to everybody, who has been here throughout the last year. If I didn't already say it here on this stream, it was posted over in the Discord. But Kel's Corner Discord just celebrated its 1-year anniversary or birthday or whatever you want to call it on Saturday, December 30th. To everybody who has joined this Discord within the last year, I mean, there's about 35 folks that have joined this, about 40, maybe 40 people. I don't know. I just want to say thank you to all of you. You know, it's been a really fun ride. It's been really interesting to see what this community can become and see what can come out of it. And it's been very humbling to see the engagement that's in there and everybody who likes to, you know, sit and chatter and talk. So yeah, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart with it. It wasn't what I expected, but I'm glad that it has turned out to be what it is. So, yeah, thank you. And I hope that this next year is even more. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this big project and let it be, you know, even grander. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I will leave you guys with this. I'll give you the flavor text quote from the Yetikin, which is read off by old Karlek the Mountain Guide. Frostwalker just zoomed in because I had to zoom in on my other window. But to leave this off and give you a little bit of a taste for what is to come next week. Traverse the high snows with respect, young one, for the Yetikin are watching. It's said their gaze can freeze a man's soul, and their howls weave the very winds of the peaks. They are the mountain's breath, the snow's lineage, and keepers of secrets we dare not know. So yeah, join me next week as we look into the Yetikin and anything else that crosses my fancy here on D&D&Chill. So I'll see you guys then. Enjoy your night, have fun, and I'll see you throughout the week. Bye.